let's talk about
Scotty doesn't
the
know.
26-man opening roster. Now, who is it? John Sequella said, hot take, the 26th spot is not in Clearwater. I would be surprised only because Orion might not be on the opening 26-man. We'll see what happens, whether it's Spencer Turnbull or Luis Ortiz or somebody like that gets a spot. I don't think they're going to make any trades because I think a lot of stuff is in flux here.
Yeah, I don't see any trades.
But I hear what he's saying. Like, I would love a left-handed outfielder not named Jay Cave. And I know I kind of like harp on Cave. He just doesn't do very much for me, but he seems like he's kind of a lock to make it. So what it boils down to is this. You have Rojas, Luplow, David Dahl, Wes Wilson, Kody Clemens, and Jake Cave. 6 dudes, 2 spots. Rojas is more or less a lock. I think we all agree, right? Does anybody think he's not going to be on the opening 26?
And for those that are in the chat saying Yoro must go, listen, at the end of the day, we've talked about it all week. We've been talking about it all spring training, it feels like. For them to instilled so much in him, change everything about his at-bats, trying everything from bunting to just figuring out how he can, work on his swing and his control and his timing and his patience and everything. They're not going to then turn around and say, oh, but go start off in AAA. Go start off in the minor leagues. It's going to be for Johan. Absolutely. He's going to get the start. Just like we had to settle on possibly Jake Cave, settle on Yoro, that he's going to be there.
Tyler, you agree? Lock opening day? Rojas?
So I believe that Rojas makes the opening day roster. Yes.
Okay.
I think
agree.
that there's plausibility to sending him down to AAA, but I think that at this point,
I think
he's your opening day center fielder, and he gets the first crack at it, and you're going to roll with the punches.
I don't know if he's going to be the opening day center fielder, but he's going to be on the roster.
He's going to be on the roster.
I think putting him on the roster and not playing him is the worst decision you could make.
Yeah, maybe.
So he either needs to play in Major League in MLB or play in AAA. But putting him on the roster and not playing him is the biggest stunt to growth.
All
I
right,
think.
So we have Luplow, Dahl, Wilson, Clemens, Cave for 1 spot. I personally, at this point, would go. Oh, and Pache, excuse me. So 6 guys for 1 spot. I mean, if I had my druthers and late game situations didn't matter, I would just keep Cristian Pache because I do think you're going to lose him on waivers. That being said, I think it's going to be Cave. I personally would just go with Clemens and move on from Jay Cave. Clemens has had a fantastic spring. He can play first. He can play outfield. He's left-handed. He's more exciting to me than Jay Cave. And look, this is a very low bar we're talking about. We're talking about the last bench spot. So, whatever. But I think it's going to be Jay Cave, although I would go Clemens.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, the good thing is, and I know you even have a stat for this, we're talking about bottom of the roster, bottom of, who's getting that final opening day start, who's getting that final opening day roster spot. These, so at the end of the day, I feel like we all need to take a chill pill and relax and understand, this shouldn't make or break the season.
No, it won't make or break. It's
and
just
I know a lot of people have said, of course,
point.
but I know just for the people in the chat, because there's been a lot of frustration over who gets those final spots. At the end of the day, this team, as all of our goal is for them to start off the season strong with a healthy Bryce, hopefully, knock on wood, a full season of Trey, Kyle not in the outfield. Those are the moves that will help the Phillies start off strong. Regardless of who these final pieces are, I don't think it's going to make or break that strong start. But that being said, after seeing Kody Clemens and even Luplow when we were in spring training, I liked both of them more than Jake Cave. I've already been on the Cristian Pache, side in terms of Pache versus Cave. I understand the lefty aspect of it. Kody Clemens would give you that. But overall, when you look at Kody Clemens, he's hit 3 home runs in spring training. He's had 10 RBIs. He's had a solid 382 average, 450 OBP. He's just giving you decent at-bats. You just need someone that's going to give you decent at-bats. You don't need someone that's going to, go up and hit a home run every time they go to bat. But please move on from Jake Cave. I just personally always in sports feel like there reaches a point where there's those guys, those athletes that for whatever reason always find themselves on a roster, even though time and time again you've seen you cannot use them. He's a pinch hitter. Postseason, you put him in a spot and he doesn't help at all. Move on, try somebody else. Let's give somebody else an opportunity and see, okay, if you can get Clemens or Leplo on the roster from the start, maybe they can give you more than Jake Cave. Maybe Pache can give you more than Jake Cave. But the Cave experiment needs to be over, just from the sake that we've seen him enough. We know what he can give. We know what he can't do. And it's time to at least try somebody else in that spot. So I'm all for trying something new.
Jake Cave moving from the top bench spot to the bottom bench spot is an upgrade.
It is.
Yes. I mean, signing Whit Merrifield was tremendous. Tyler, let's throw reality out the window. If you were the GM sitting in Dave Dombrowski's chair and you had final call, Luplow, Dahl, Wilson, Pache, Clemens, and Cave for a final spot, who you got?
So you're playing a game of numbers on this particular one, because if you're taking either Clemens, Dahl, or Luplow, the likelihood is you're probably going to lose 2 players on waivers. You're going to lose Pache, I believe. I think that Jake Cave would get claimed.
I think he would get picked up.
I believe there's too many open spots for some lesser teams that would allow Jake Cave to be kind of in the role that he was last year, which was first or second guy off the bench as opposed to fourth or fifth guy off the bench. So if you're picking either Luplow, Dahl, or Clemens, you're going to probably lose 2 guys to waivers. If you're picking Luplow or Dahl,
Luplow would probably
you would have to put one of the 2 of them on the 40-man roster, because neither of them are on the 40-man roster right now, which means you're going to have to move somebody else off the 40. That's not an end-all, be-all, but it is something that they're going to have to consider if they're going to take one of these 2 guys. So to me, the final roster spot comes down to Pache and Cave.
And it's going to be Cave.
And I think that it's probably going to be Cave because of the left-handed bat, the ability to play first base. I think that there is no amazing answer to this, because Pache is also probably going to be scooped on waiver. Like we talked about, he's going to be scooped on waivers. So there's no immaculate answer to this. But it also, to me, like, we're sitting here arguing over roster spot 25 or 26. There are worse places to be than arguing over roster spot 25 and 26. But to end long-winded, worded answer to your question, I think the answer probably is going to be Jake Cave.
That's exactly what it comes down to, is like, who would you rather lose? Because if you let somebody go, as you mentioned, they can get picked up by another team. Who would you rather lose? And then ultimately we are talking about 25, 26. And that's a really good spot to be in going into opening day less than a week from now, because we are just 6 days away, guys, that we're having this conversation on who is that final piece